What's up, manifestors? Welcome back to another episode. Just a reminder that you have the power to create worlds inside you. You're worthy, you're exactly where you need to be, and you're loved beyond comprehension. Let's get on with the show. You're listening to The Vibe with me, your host, Kirsty Jane Aston, your home of all things ascension, spirituality, and vibrational wellness. Thank you for joining me, divine being. Much love, appreciation, and namaste. Hello everyone, welcome back to The Vibe. We are on episode 3 now. It's going really quickly. If you are new to this podcast, then thank you so much for tuning in and being with me today. And also, if you are a returning listener, then I have so much appreciation and gratitude for you as well. Today, we're going to be speaking about synchronicity. And synchronicity is something that has really helped me over the years with my manifesting and also with enhancing my intuition skills. Just quickly, before I started doing this podcast, it was really funny. I was all ready to go. I had everything set up. I had my drink. I had all my equipment. And then the window cleaner turned up and decided to clean all of the windows in my surrounding area, making a lovely racket. So I just had to wait for that to pass. I'm not sure if that was a synchronicity in itself, basically making me wait, saying this isn't the time to start it for whatever reason. But it's a good job that I didn't get halfway through and then they started. So anyway, that is my little intro story for you today. Right, synchronicity. So I find that synchronicity is such an amazing way to tell you what kind of timeline you're on, depending on what manifestation you're trying to bring about in your life. And it's also a really good tool to help you to start communicating either with the universe, with your higher self, or with your divine guides and angels. So I'm constantly asking for signs in my life. In episode 1, I did say that I basically these days don't do anything unless I have divine guidance about it. Whether it be an intuitive feeling or whether it be through receiving signs. Signs they're such a complex thing because they can come in so many different forms, but the only real thing that matters is how you feel about it. And if you've asked for a sign and it comes up, you will know that the sign is for you. So if you get really good at asking and receiving signs, especially when you start to really raise your vibration, when you start to resonate closer to 5th dimensional frequency, then you'll realize that your entire life can become one massive synchronicity and that the universe is literally speaking to you. Now, you are the only person that creates your reality. And so every single thing that you perceive is for a reason. And there are no coincidences in the universe. Everything happens, especially to you, as a result of the thoughts, feelings, and belief systems that you have. So if you can hone in your skills, you'll be able to realise that everything that happens around you is providing you with feedback about the vibrational output that you have. So let's just talk about signs and synchronicities in terms of manifestations. If there is a manifestation that you are wanting to play out in your life, something that you're trying to attract, literally whatever it may be, then you can ask for signs and synchronicities from the universe to show you what timeline you're on, how close you are to manifesting your desire, and basically just to show you that you really are pulling in that reality into your current one. Because what happens when we're trying to manifest something, if we go a bit quantum for a second, is that everything that you want already exists. The version of you that already has everything that you're wanting to manifest is already existing in the universe. So when we're wanting to manifest something, what we're really wanting to do is collapse timelines. Collapse space and time effectively so that you can become that version of yourself and merge with that version of yourself that already has all of those things. That is why when we're using the law of attraction, it's so important to already feel like you have the things that you have, and why emotions are so important, because they are the things that are going to help you most clearly align with that vision of yourself. So when we are trying to manifest something, what we can do is directly ask the universe or your higher self for signs that your manifestation is on the way. And I know that when I was first starting out with the law of attraction, I had such fun with this. Synchronicities can literally come in the form of anything, and you can sometimes be specific about the things that you want to see. But because they are usually from your guides and angels who know you better than you really do, they're going to give it to you in a way that really resonates with you. So if we do think about it from a little bit of a quantum perspective, we can understand that synchronicities are basically letting you know that you are merging into the timeline where your manifestations are already existing. So like, say if you want a specific car and you keep seeing that car just everywhere and it's really standing out to you and it's coming out to you in the most like ridiculous ways that it's beyond coincidence, you know that you are entering into and collapsing the timelines to merge with that version of you that already has that car, because it is becoming apparent in your reality. And it is really such a crazy thing. Like when you really, really start to practice your focus with tuning into synchronicity and using your intuition, honestly, the things that happen, sometimes you can't even be bothered to explain them to people, because you're like, it's just too magical, like it's just too synchronistic. It's going to sound like I've made it up, but like that will happen to you. So yeah, have fun with it. It's absolutely magic. Also, the closer you get to your manifestation, the more synchronicities you might start to see. And if you're really good at asking for more synchronicities and really honouring the synchronicities that you get, they can usually build in kind of size, although we know the universe doesn't measure things in size. But to us, obviously, seeing a picture of a car and actually receiving a car, we put quite a lot of differentiation on those two manifestations. So yes, the closer you get to your manifestation, the bigger the synchronicities will probably be. So let's talk about some of the synchronicities that you might be able to get into your reality to help you know that you are on the right track. I have had synchronicities in literally so many different ways, and there isn't like an allotted list of synchronicities that you get from the universe and that's it. It can come through absolutely anything that resonates with you, as I said. But some of the things that I've had in the past have been literally flyers through the post or letters, completely unexpected and out of the blue, hearing adverts on the radio, for example. It happened to me yesterday, but this is just an example of a synchronicity. Not that I was trying to manifest going to McDonald's, because it's not really my thing, but we were going past McDonald's in the car, and at that exact moment, a McDonald's radio advert came on. So just things like that just align. So when it comes to things like that, it is important to know that sometimes your synchronicity won't be specific to your manifestation, but things will kind of just align and fall into place as a way of showing you that you are aligned with your highest timelines and you are aligned with your higher self. So if you're going about your day and everything just seems really super easy, which is technically how it should be if we are always in alignment, then that's a good way of you knowing that you are doing it right, kind of thing. You are on the right timeline, because everything is synchronistic. Everything is flowing in a divine order, and you will feel that. Some other ways that I've received signs and synchronicities have been on TV programs. Somebody might just be having a really random conversation. And some of the things that you want to manifest might be things that no one knows about, and then you'll suddenly hear loads of words related to that manifestation, whether it be when you're out in public, one of your family members says it, if you overhear someone else's conversation, on the radio, as I said, TV programs, etc. Really obscure words can come out and you're like, what? Like, I swear I've never really heard anyone say that word before or mention that topic, and now because I'm wanting to manifest, it's just everywhere. And that is synchronicity. Nothing is an accident. You're making that happen. Another thing that might start to happen is that other people around you might start receiving those things, or people that you know, or people that you see online, for example, they might start receiving those things. And this is where so many people can really put themselves off and really not use synchronicity to their advantage, because if you still hold vibrations of things like jealousy and you're really not trusting in your power as a creator or in the universe, that you're safe, that everything you want's coming to you, then if someone else, for example, gets a job that you want, you're going to feel jealous of that person. But here is the hack that you should really use to amplify your momentum in that moment. So it's as if the universe has given you that sign and saying, here you go, it's you next. This is what's about to happen to you. So take this person as an example and a gift from me, and know that this is what's on the way for you. And instead of getting jealous of that person and being like, oh, my manifestation accidentally went to the wrong person, that's not what's happening. The universe has given you a gift. And when you say, oh God, like, it would be really weird if like the two of us both got that job, you know, it would be too synchronistic. You just need to trust in the divine timing. And that is where some people can kind of backtrack on their momentum a little bit, because they get disheartened, because for some really strange reason, and I understand the reason as well, it's like, that person's got what I wanted, that's really unfair. But really, the universe has given you that to say it's just about to happen to you. And this actually really did happen to me in real life when I'd just graduated from university, and I found the law of attraction, and I was manifesting my first job. And I remember we had this uni kind of night out, and I went out with all my friends, and one of my friends had literally just got the job that I wanted. Not the exact job, but the same type of job that I wanted. And I remember thinking, it's me next. This is amazing. It's going to be me next. And I felt, instead of feeling jealous of that person, I felt genuinely so happy for them, because you can tap into the emotion they feel about getting that job and how happy they are and how excited they are. And you can actually kind of steal that vibration and feel that for yourself and say, I'm going to feed off of that person's vibration and hold that same vibration in myself, because it allows you to line up with the feeling of already having it, because that person already does. And so that is the universe giving you a really easy way to really feel what it's like to have that job. But we just have to be able to get our own trauma responses out the way to be able to receive that vibration. And a trauma response is something that isn't in alignment with your higher self. So there are lots of things that can cause trauma in us, and they don't have to be massive catastrophic events in our life. They can just be things like an event happened in your life, especially when you're at a younger age, that made you feel like you weren't good enough. And then if you don't release that trauma, then you will carry feelings of unworthiness and jealousy your entire life. So it's just things like that most people hold, but we just don't know how to get rid of, or have been taught that we just have to live with them, but we don't. So that is one way that you can really amplify your manifestation power when the universe is giving you that synchronicity. And for me, it worked, and it will work for you as well. 2 weeks after that, I was announcing myself that I had got my dream job. And so it's just about the belief that you have. You have to believe that you're worthy of receiving that, and don't put things off as a coincidence, like, oh, that's just too coincidental, like I'm not gonna stand up to that power that the universe is trying to give me. You have to be able to stand in that power and say, yes, please, I'm ready to receive this. I feel the feeling of it, and I trust that the universe is so divine and so full of infinite intelligence that it is gonna help me to craft my life in the easiest, most magical, miraculous, simple way. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can literally be as simple as, here's a flyer through your door of your dream house 1 week from the universe. Next week, here is a lottery ticket for one of those, I don't know, those lotteries where you win houses. Here's a ticket for that someone's given you as a present, boom. And the week after that, you win the house. It can literally be that simple if you allow it to be, and it all depends on you. That is another thing that we have to bear in mind, is that yes, we use the universe to manifest what we want, or rather work with the universe, and the universe will knock itself out to give you everything you want in the most magical detail, but you just have to trust it. But at the same time, we have to know that it is us who has all of the control about how much we allow into our lives, because the universe will provide you with magic every single time, but it only depends on how much we can believe it, because we have to be holding that vibration for the universe to match it. If you're holding a vibration of disbelief and distrust and being like, well, I don't really trust, but the universe is just going to show me anyway, then that's not going to happen for you, because you need to work with the universe based on the universal law of attraction to say, I'm already holding this vibration of absolute trust and belief in the universe, and therefore it has to manifest for me, and the universe has to bring you exactly what you're looking for. Another little example of a synchronicity that I actually had yesterday, there's a type of car that I really, really want, and it's just my absolute dream car. I don't think it's a car that is that common, so I haven't actually seen one of these cars ever in my life. But I was on the train the other day and I happened to just look up out of the window. I was on my phone, but I literally looked up out of the window for whatever reason, synchronistically, and saw a massive Mercedes-Benz dealership, which was called Mercedes-Benz World, which I've never seen before. And it was just outside London. And I only had about 15 seconds probably, because the train was obviously going really fast, to kind of just process what I was seeing. But I swear I saw the car that I want. And it was absolutely crazy, because I've only ever seen these cars in America and kind of on the internet, and I've never ever seen one in England. And it was just absolutely magical, and it was just lovely, and they're just those moments where you're like, oh, wow. And you'll always know, because it makes you feel a certain way. It makes you feel in alignment, and it just gives you that little spark of magic, and you will feel it. Also, another really crazy manifestation just off the back of that was that I was in the car the other day, and I seem to always be in the car. I was in the car the other day and I just kept seeing Mercedes literally everywhere. And now I haven't wanted this car for very long, but I swear, honestly, I've not really seen Mercedes. I've not really been tuned in to Mercedes cars, because I had wanted a different car. But that's changed now. So all I could see the other day when I was out in the car was just Mercedes everywhere. So I said, thank you for all these signs. Thank you so much. I received them. And then I said, can we keep sending me these signs? Can you keep showing me them? And then I stopped at the roundabout, and the next two cars to kind of cross over me at the roundabout, I was literally stopped, were one after the other, two identical work vans. They were both Mercedes, and the logo on both of the vans was SGN. And I don't know about you guys, but if I was going to say that word, it would probably be sign, how it looks. And so it was just such validation. And also a really important thing to do is that when you do receive a sign or a synchronicity, is to acknowledge it, whether it be to point out to someone else, I always say message received, whether it's in my head or out loud. If you are in public, obviously people are going to think you're a bit strange if you're going to start saying message received. But, who cares what anyone thinks? So do what you will. But basically, all you're doing is anchoring in that new timeline. You are making it definitely a part of your reality. You're saying, I've received this message, I've seen this synchronicity, and I am choosing to anchor it into my current reality with the universe. And as I said, sometimes it's not necessary to tell people when you've seen your signs, but it can help you to kind of anchor in your manifestation. But it does depend on the person's vibration, because if they're a person that is not going to be happy for you, for example, is going to look at you like you're a bit strange, then you can usually tell what the response is going to be. And in that case, just keep it to yourself, because you don't want anything kind of just interfering with your vibes, you know? Another thing that you can do is to keep a list of your synchronicities. And by doing that, not only are you helping yourself to keep track of the things that you've seen, if you ever need some motivation or to reinforce your trust in yourself and your manifesting power, just go back and look at the list that you've made and say, wow, I've received all of these manifestations, and the end goal that I'm trying to achieve isn't any bigger in terms of energy than any of these. And I've already received all of these manifestations in the form of synchronicities. So as I've said, like, this can get really kind of trippy, especially when you're working on kind of quantum manifestation, which means from the perspective of just collapsing space and time to receive what it is that you want. It can get really, really trippy. And that is when it is a good idea to keep track of it, because you're like, whoa. And you realise that reality is very, very malleable and changeable, and it is very paper thin, and it can mold and bend and change around you. This also happened. This is just kind of often a little bit of a tangent, but sometimes you can receive like glitches. You call it glitches in the matrix of the reality. So this happened to my mum, actually. We were watching a video about glitches, and I've received a few glitchy moments in the past few months, but I told my mum about it, and then we watched this thing about it. And she said, this happened to me this morning, and it was so strange. What can happen basically is that because time is an illusion, depending on what our vibration is doing, we can actually step in and out of different times and timelines. I'm not going to get into all the quantumness of this right now, but this is what happened, and it was a synchronicity, and it's just a perfect story to show how much the universe is looking out for you and your angels and guides at all times if you just trust. So this is my mum's story, not mine, but we're using it for the purpose of this. She woke up and she was late for work. She was running late for work, and she usually leaves the house by 7:00. And by the time she got in the car, it was 7:14 on the car clock. And she was thinking, oh no, I'm going to be late for work. This is so irritating. And she went round the corner in her car, and then when she looked back at the clock, because obviously she was very focused about the time, it was 7:01. And she said, I was looking at it again and again, and I thought, what? And if this stuff happens to you, don't think that you're going crazy. Just accept it and acknowledge it. And she said, I swear it was 7:14, because I looked at it and I thought, oh no, I'm going to be late. And then it was 7:01. So really glitchy stuff can start to happen. And I've had a lot of very strange glitches. But you have to be in the zone where you know that everything in your reality is created by you, and it is very, very changeable. And that is when the universe will start to show that to you. Again, it is the law of attraction. If you don't hold beliefs and don't hold the knowing that you live in a constructed reality based on illusion and based on your thoughts and feelings, then you're not going to see any of these glitchy things, because you're not on that frequency. Another thing to do with time when it comes to synchronicity is that you can receive signs in times, and I've been doing this for absolutely years now. And this links on nicely to more of the side of speaking with our angels and our guides and receiving messages from them. So if you've asked for a message from them specifically, or you want to know about something, you have questions that you've asked them, then they will often send you signs in times. So if you look at the clock and it's like 11:11, that's a really, really common one, obviously, like 111 or 444 angel numbers. But usually it's either numbers that are the same. So if it's like 1414 on the clock, if you're in England, or things like that. Or it can be inverted numbers like 1221, like mirror numbers. So just look out for them. And also numbers if it's like 1619, because they're kind of mirror numbers with the 6 and the 9. So what you can do is, if you see a time, like the other day, I didn't really know 1619, or was it 1916? I can't remember, was like an angel number. But I literally just looked at my phone and I thought, oh, like I felt something in my intuition. I thought, I'm just going to Google what the angel number for that is and what it means. So do just hop on Google if you're not sure. And usually it will tell you what the kind of messages that your guides are trying to get to you, if you're not clairvoyant, clairaudient, and all of that stuff. And this is a new one that I learned from Laurie Ladd on YouTube. To connect with your guides and angels, what you can do is a really fun thing with songs, because often you can hear messages in songs, but that happens to me quite a lot as well. There'll be a random song playing and it will just be so synchronistic with everything I'm thinking about or everything I'm feeling. But what you can do if you want to connect with your guides is say, okay, I want you to help me to receive a message that you want me to know using the time and these songs. So what I usually do is look at the time, whatever time it is, add up all the numbers together to get a number. So say it all adds up to 13. I'll go on to whatever playlist on my Spotify feels the best, and I will count down to the 13th song and play it. And it usually is just so profound, the messages that come out. And then you can like Google the lyrics of it if you really want to just hone in on what the message actually is. But that's a really, really good hack, I'd say, to be able to communicate with your angels and get some answers. And now we have to remember that our guides and angels have been with us since before we even incarnated in this lifetime. They literally have been with you your entire life. They know you so, so well. And so it is just trusting that they have got your back. And oftentimes we make life a lot harder for ourselves and put ourselves on more difficult timelines that aren't so easy. Because if we can, 100% of the time, learn to trust our angels and our guides, we will be guided in the easiest way possible to everything that we want, but sometimes we just get in the way. So in terms of synchronicity, it is so important to know that if you are wanting to receive signs from the universe, from your guides especially, that you have to ask for them, because you have free will, as does every single being in the cosmos, that you have to ask for the things that you want. So your guides can't just come in and unless it's like a life or death situation and it isn't your contracted time to go, then they can't really do anything for you unless you ask for it. So they're not just going to give you signs and synchronicities like all day, every day, unless you ask. And if you ask for answers to questions and you ask for signs and synchronicities, then you will get them. But there also is a massive difference between receiving signs after you've asked for them and looking for signs. Because in the receiving, you're very unattached and you're very resistance free, because you know that your guides are going to send you signs and that all you have to do is just be open and present in the moment. And that is why it is so important to be present in the moment, because if your mind is occupied by thinking about things that have happened and things that haven't happened in the past or the future, which are both not real, then you aren't actually in the only place where you can receive anything new, which is in the present moment. So if you're in the car, for example, if I was in the car the other day and my mind was just preoccupied with all of the things that I needed to do, replaying old scenarios, and there's no way I would have been present enough to receive all of the signs that were being shown to me. And so that is why it is so important to just stay in the now moment and just stay alert and stay open, but not go looking for signs. Because if you're looking for signs and you don't get them, you're just creating resistance, which means you're not gonna get them, because you're saying, I don't see them, and I'm looking for them. And the universe is like, cool, you don't see them, so that's what we're gonna give you, not seeing them. So yeah, just be open to receiving them, but don't go looking for them. And when they come, you will know. And you don't have to be thinking about them all the time for them to manifest. Just make your intention that you want to receive signs, let it go, and let it come to you. What your guides and angels can actually do as well, which is what happened to me the other day on the train, and it has happened to me a few times, is if you do give them permission, they can actually move your head around and bring your attention to stuff. And it sounds really strange, but it is real and it does work. So if you just make the intention, like, you are allowed to, or you have my permission to guide me, move my focus to whatever it is you want me to see, they will do that for you, because they're not going to do anything bad to you. They hold absolute unconditional divine love for you. You're safe and you're protected. So if there is a specific sign that they would really like you to see and that they've set out for you that you've asked for, then no matter what you're doing, you'll just get this random impulse to just look somewhere. It's happened to me so many times, and you don't even have time to think about what you're doing. You just look. And that is them giving you that very subconscious impulse, like, move your head now and look over here. And that is when you can get some really, really insane synchronicities, like I did the other day on the train. But honestly, using signs and synchronicities becomes so much fun, and you realise that life really is a game, and you get to play this game with a whole team of angels around you, and it is so much fun. It just really is, like, it's so fun. And it really does kind of reinforce your power and reinforce your knowledge that you are a powerful creator, because all of those signs and synchronicities are manifestations that you have orchestrated along with, you know, your higher self and all of that. But those are manifestations, and sometimes I think we forget, like, oh, I can't manifest because this thing that I want hasn't come into my life. But if you're seeing signs and synchronicities, you are manifesting, you are doing it. And so have that trust in yourself. Trust that you are a divine creator, that you can have and be and do absolutely anything that you want. And just, have fun with it. Just live life a bit lighter, knowing that you are supported at all times and that the universe is speaking to you. So thank you so much for listening today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please come visit me on my socials and come chat to me, because I'd love to connect with some of you. Good luck with your manifesting. I'm sending you so much unconditional love and light. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye. For more energetic content, search I Am KJ Aston on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.